see a little. There we go.
Little blips.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, and I'm going to try and cut it up into 30-minute chunks this time instead of like what was it last time? Like just an hour and 45 minutes of talking. But yeah, as I was saying, different from this last one is now we have Mr. Kevin, who's going to be playing our Yosoki outlaw operative with a group. And it looks like Bailey is going to be the one guy who is not a skill monkey, and he's going to be like the tough brawn of the group.
Yay!
With his Jedi mind tricks. So what else are you looking at with your stuff, Kevin? Have you got a name for your character?
Oh, his name is Lils. Lils.
Lils.
Because he's real tiny. He's about 3 feet tall.
God, yeah, that is short. How tall are Lashuntas? Hold on a second. Let me check.
They're human height, actually.
Okay.
They're almost exactly like humans, minus the little sensors they got going on.
Yeah, and the telepathy. Definitely the telepathy.
Indeed.
So you guys are going to be able to have conversations completely shutting your little mouse fellow out.
I'm so sorry, Kevin.
Oh, man. Well, I can also speak Castrovellian, if that's any consolation.
What is Castrovellian?
That's your own planet.
That's the language that Lashuntas speak.
So,
damn.
He that'd be really funny if like he can speak your language, but you guys can't speak your language. He's just talking.
Oh,
I'm just talking shit about you in your own home world.
Just like Daddy.
It's just like, what the hell is this motherfucker saying?
Oh boy.
But if that doesn't work for you, I also got Akitonian, Celestial, Common, Shirin, and Yosoki.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like I keep forgetting. I've never played too heavily on like language stuff, but in this thing, like you can potentially know a ton of languages just starting off, because like it deals with the whole idea that like, what is it like? You speak your race's language, whatever language is naturally like the majority language found on your planet, and like those two you get just starting off, as well as the other languages you can pick.
Yeah.
What else have we got with you?
I have a question.
Yes, babe.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why is it every single creature in the Marvel Universe speak the same language?
It's like Doctor Who. Everybody in space speaks British English.
Yeah, that's what everybody in Marvel speaks American English.
Everybody in a Godzilla movie speaks Japanese.
Fair point.
You haven't noticed that, but the next time you watch one of the Godzillas that involve space aliens, you'll notice.
Let's see here. What else do you need to know? Let's see. Do you need to know ability scores?
If you want to mention like, feats you got and stuff like that, or any kind of cool abilities that operatives get, like just to let the party kind of know what to expect with you, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, just from the racial ability of being in Yosoki, I have cheek pouches.
I love it.
Which I can store 1 bulk or 1 cubic foot of material in my cheeks. And I can retrieve or store 1 item as a swift action, and I can expel all of it out of my mouth as a move action.
I would
like a sea cucumber.
I would like, for those that are unenlightened, let me just highlight how impressive that is. There are suits of armor that have 1 bulk.
Yeah.
So he can literally cram an entire mannequin's worth of armor in his mouth.
Oh yeah.
She said. All right.
And carry on a conversation.
I can see in the dark, up to 60 feet, black and white only. I ended up taking Fleet as my main feat for level 1, and so that gives me a plus 10 to my land speed. So I can run about 40 feet every round. Are rounds every 6 seconds? Is that still about right?
Roughly, give or take. Like I said, we won't be playing on a grid. I might have something nearby to kind of, that way I'll be able to visualize placement and be able to kind of tell you guys roughly where you are. I've always been kind of more of like a theater of the mind kind of guy. Like I like grids and like battle mats and all that stuff, but especially with this, like a Skype kind of game, it just works better if, we just all just kind of pretend in this game of pretend.
When I ask, like, say, if I want to do a bonus action or something along those lines, or I guess it's called a swift action. something.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's different in 5e, I think.
Yeah, I knew what you were referring.
I'd like to kind of get like a time reference onto what I can say would probably be about feasible.
Yeah, generally speaking, around is like the general rule is around is 6 seconds and 10 rounds is a minute.
Okay. So I don't want to ask something out of the ordinary and just be like, no, why would you even ask me to do that? Come on, silly.
Yeah, and even then, like, I mean, it's I kind of play it fast and loose. I mean, like if you got a move that allows you to like freaking do 1,000 like anime backflips with like lightning bolts creeping behind you and stuff, I'm not gonna be like, I don't know, that's creeping into like 7 seconds right there.
Fair enough. Raw allows.
Where's my water? There's my water. Don't quite have the drink that McCutcheon has.
Let's see.
Glad one of us is well hydrated.
I have the ghost specialization.
Oh.
For my operative, which gives me a associated skill of acrobatics and stealth. And if I use the stealth to make a trick attack, I get a +1 bonus to the skill check.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And I know like between you and McCutcheon, you guys are going to be the skill monkeys.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious what kind of skills you got. Oh, go on, McCutcheon.
No, I was going to say I was incredibly thankful he came on board because it freed me up to kind of flesh out my character a little bit. So I changed some of my skills around whenever you want to look at that.
That's perfectly fine. Oh, by the way, Bailey, we'll start with you. Did you come up with a name for your character?
A name?
Mm-hmm.
Why? It's funny you should ask that.
Because if you want, I have a list of random rolled names in the Starfinder campaign Bible.
Might I suggest an old nickname I had in college, Lord Starfucker.
Lord Starfucker, the Solarian Karasha Lashunta.
I mean, it sounds pretty thematic, not gonna lie.
Very on theme.
What up, Bailey? You got a name?
Come back to me in 3 minutes.
Bailey, would you like to roll on the random name generator?
I don't trust your random name generator.
Don't worry, most of the names are foreign swear words.
She's gonna roll like Christy.
Bailey, let's do it. I want to do this really bad. Hold on a second. Where's the Lashunta? Kasata, Sheeran, Vesk, Yisoki.
That is the face of regret right there. You're like, oh, what have I done?
Did I not write Lashuntas? Hold on a moment. Android, human. Holy shit! I didn't make any Lashunta names. That's just nope. It was caught in the nope. Shit, that's fast. Well, never mind, Bailey. You're gonna have to come up with this on your own. I made dwarf names and no one's even playing a dwarf. Okay, so McCutcheon.
Hello.
Do you have a name for your Demaya Lashunta?
They call me Dog Moth, Bounty Hunter. Dog Moth.
You're sticking with Dog Moth?
That's right. They call me Dog for short.
So is that DOGMAUTH? I'm sticking with that.
That's it.
Dogmuth the Bounty Hunter.
Just for Bailey, I took a picture of the common names for Lashuntas on the core rulebook. So if he wants to take a look at that, that's a possibility. Get an idea.
We'll mention that when he comes back. That's a shame because, like, anytime I've done like a campaign, I've always done that because, especially as like a DM or whatever, I don't want you guys to catch me, and I'd be like, Arr. Yeah. In this case, I can be like, let me consult the spheres, also known as the random name generator.
Randy the ghost.
Well, they caught me in that once before, actually, which is in that thing, which was in that podcast that we sent you. There was a character that he was like a wizard or something, and I had a name for him initially, but I completely forgot it in between sessions or something like that. Because there's just something I came up with on the spot. So they asked for his name, and I just blurted out Randy. And Randy
hello
the
there,
medieval
Randy.
bard.
Was he the cultist? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Randy the cultist. And he just
he was there like the whole storyline. Oh God.
no. Randy was Garrett.
No.
No, Randy was Garrett's character. What was the name of that? What was the name of that cultist? Robert.
Oh
was
yeah,
Robert.
because Randy was the bard.
Yeah, Randy was Garrett's character. It was Robert the cultist.
Robert. Yeah, there you go. Close.
Okay, Bailey. Kevin sent you a list of very common Lashunta names on the Facebook group that we got. If you want to look with that.
What about, I got this very original name.
Oh, God.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Ron Alona.
Ron Alono.
Yes.
Is that Ron first name, Alono second name?
It's very original, I know. Never heard of a space adventurer name, something like that, so.
Yeah. Come back to me on that. I'll take Dogma the Bounty Hunter, but
Hey, I got your cameras back. There you go. I can finally see you guys.
Woo.
Sweet.
Look at him titties.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mm.
So, McCutcheon, any other things? We'll go ahead and go with you wanted to say you made some changes to your character in terms of skills and stuff.
Yes. I tried to kind of fit him to the role just a little bit better. So I got rid of piloting since we have a pilot now, and I put intimidate in that spot.
Okay.
Okay, and then I got rid of sleight of hand. I put diplomacy in that spot. I got rid of engineering, and I put culture in that spot. And I got rid of merchant because I didn't realize that, like, I can say that I'm a bounty hunter, but if my profession is not bounty hunter, I don't know bounty hunter stuff. So now my profession is bounty hunter. And for my feat, I took veiled threat, which is this feat where you can threaten people, and then instead of them being hostile to you, they'll be indifferent. Like, I mean, maybe he meant it, but I don't really know.
So in the event that you botch it, they're not immediately going to go on the defensive.
Yeah, or if it's successful, and they, like, let's say I'm like, hey, give me your lunch money. He may give me the lunch money, and then instead of him being like, man, what a dick, he might just be like, wow, maybe he just really needs it.
Big bulking guy. So yeah, he looks a little hungry.
Yeah, with his 90s like mohawk and his alien.
Is that how you're going with your character? He's got like a 90s mohawk.
Yeah.
Are you going to go with just like the hard 80s, 90s cyberpunk kind of look?
You kind of nailed it. I don't know what kind of armor gives me a sleeveless leather jacket, but probably that.
Whatever it is, he's got an actual wallet with a chain connecting it to his belt.
Yeah.
I will say this though, in the official rules, like all armor, like even the lowest end, is generally considered to. I mean, if you guys were hung up on this while you're looking at like stuff to buy, all armor is generally considered to have like some capabilities to where you can go out on like and walk around in space and like hostile environments. Like even like really nice suits have something built in, be it like magical or something like that provides like a force field on you. So like you can walk around in like a business suit out in space.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of which, did you happen to look at any of the gear that you could buy in McCutcheon?
Yeah, I did.
Any questions?
I just really wanted. Oh yeah. Okay. First question. Stuff had a level on it, and I didn't know if that was like you can't unlock stuff until you reach that level. Like when you're starting the game, you have to pick level 1 gear.
Generally speaking, like I mean, you can, if you can afford it, you can have level 20 gear. It will be but it will be really broken game. But like I'm playing it whatever you guys can afford. But you might have also noticed that like level 2 gear, if you were to buy any of that, you would be left with like 700. Like you'd be down to like 300 credits automatically.
Yeah, I just wanted to pick like one or two things that was like trying to. I think it was like the tack lash and the arc pistol stuff that has the option to do non-lethal damage, so I can subdue instead of killing people, dropping bodies. I can bring in my bounties, keep it on theme.
Yeah, and like the general rules are like it's not one of those things where it's just like you have to do a certain amount of damage or you're going to instantly kill them. Like it's generally assumed that like I mean it's still considered like a kill if you knock them unconscious in terms of combat and stuff like that. They might wake up while they're in your capacity, but it's not like the old school really stupid rules.
So we're more than able to knock them out and then kind of medicine check to stabilize them, but have them tied the hell up.
Yeah, and like McCutcheon was talking, like there are weapons in this one that are designed to be non-lethal just out of the gate.
Like blunt weapons?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me have a look at some of my
Andromana, is that your name, Bailey?
Andromeda.
I dig it. I like it.
Very sexy.
Because I've got a tactical baton with the anchoring property.
Yeah, like usually it says on it. Hold on a moment. If I remember correctly, let's find the melee weapons.
Also, not gonna lie, but I really want to like end somebody by sticking a flare gun in their mouth and pulling the trigger.
But yeah, any of this stuff, it'll say non-lethal on it. In fact, I'll go ahead and Andromeda.
The space venturer.
Born in space, lives in space, thrives in space.
Yeah, hold on just a second. See page 252 for rules on how non-lethal works. And I'll just read that aloud. Non-lethal damage represents harm that can knock you out instead of killing you. Some weapons deal only non-lethal damage, while others can be set to lethal, deal lethal, or non-lethal, whichever your choice. Let's see. Most attacks that deal non-lethal work like any other attacks, and they deal lethal damage to your stamina points or hit points as normal. However, when non-lethal damage would reduce you to 0 or fewer HP, you were reduced to exactly 0 HP and fall unconscious, but you were stable instead of dying. You can use a weapon that deals non-lethal damage to deal lethal damage instead, but you take a -4 penalty on your attack roll, and vice versa. So, if you want to, if you got, a chainsaw sword, which is a thing in this, they borrowed some of the better parts of Warhammer 40,000.
I'm about to say, bring 40K to me.
You can absolutely use it for non-lethal, but one, you're going to do it at a -4 penalty, and two, you better find an awesome way to describe how this is happening.
I'm about to say, that's probably more than that, because I'm a 3-foot-tall mouse, like, basically holding a chainsaw gun.
I'm nuts. I'm out of water. I'll have to remedy that in the future. I like that name, Bailey.
I'm going to write that down.
So, any cool abilities with your guy, Mr. McCutcheon, that the group should know about?
Other than that, I am very good at threatening people. No, I have improv, which gives a bonus of sorts that I can like give to other people, but that's about it. Expertise gives me plus 1d6 on sense motive checks, and skill expertise. I gotta look that up actually and see exactly what that means. I wrote it down, but I didn't do my homework.
It pretty much works the same way as expertise, only you know how expertise is deadlocked in sense motive.
Oh, okay. So like maybe I must have wrote that down as my racial feat. So I was gonna give myself a +2 on intimidate and a +2 on bluff.
Okay. As long as that falls within the math of your character.
Yep, that works.
Okay, and Mr. Bailey, let us ask a little bit about your character. Any stats or anything that you fixed out or anything?
Booked them all into my character sheet. They all all work. They all still stay the same. Just to go over them, let me see here.
Oh, you told me that you settled on a weapon.
Oh, did you not get that?
I did. That's what you tell the group. Okay, so just so you know, Kevin, if you didn't read up on the Solarian, which is what Bailey's Andromeda is, they're basically Jedi. But one of the things they got this little floaty ball of light that kind of hovers around them, and they can grab it, and some of them can turn it into like a suit of armor that they always have, and others turn it into a weapon. He has opted to turn his into a weapon that he's just automatically proficient in. And what does this weapon look like, Bailey?
Let me send it to the. No, I can't send. No, maybe I can send it to the group chat.
Please tell me it is an oversized golf club and you were just beating the shit out of people.
Well, that's way better than I had. So.
Oh no!
He's like, let me erase what I had.
So did you ever play Saints Row the Third?
Yes.
The dildo baseball bat.
God bless.
No,
Oh man!
No, it's an oversized sword. No, as I recall, it's an oversized sword, is it not, Bailey?
Yeah, Zabado.
Hell yeah!
It just forms purely out of energy, so it's all glowy and shit.
So that's actually that's an interesting question. Logistically wise, would an oversized sword give a minus to an attack roll, but because it's his proficient weapon, which is made out of basically starlight and plasma energy, would that essentially negate the whole having too much weight for his size?
Well, honestly, like the way as it's written is that it's, for intents and purposes, it's a real weapon, but it just kind of forms out of nothingness, and the moment he lets go of it, it just dissipates. Like
Right.
it's essentially an extension of his fist for all intents and purposes.
Okay.
Like it's basically like the Green Lantern. It takes the form of whatever you need at that moment. But
Gotcha.
in order for him to change the size or whatever of it, he's going to have to wait till he levels up.
Understandable. Gotcha.
Like for some Solarians, for him it takes that form. For other Solarians, it could take like the form of like 2 daggers. But mechanically, it all plays the same.
Sweet.
Any other changes or anything, Bailey? Any particular abilities that you settled on? Let me turn to Solarian.
Do I get any personal abilities? Oh wait, yeah.
Technomancer went too far. Soldier, still too far. You do get revelations.
Oh well, I thought.
Which I believe so. Yeah.
He gets a stellar revelation.
Yeah,
Black hole or supernova.
Yeah, you already know black hole and supernova, so disregard. Just be sure to read up on how stellar mode works. If you have any questions off the grid, you can ask me about that. But yeah, just because like stellar mode is how you essentially power up all of your stuff, and you got to switch out depending on the situation.
Oh, one second.
Yeah, sure thing.
Well, I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. I will go ahead and end this little session and wait till we get back, and then I'll start recording again since we're at like 25 minutes.
Sounds good.
A moment.